Hello, my name is Yael, and today we're going to learn how to use an Etch-a-Sketch. Just the basics. So you can follow along by downloading an Etch-a-Sketch app. It's available on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. And I will be able to go through that with you. Of course, if you have an Etch-a-Sketch, use that. Let's start by going through how an Etch-a-Sketch works. I know for me personally, it's easier to use something if I understand how it works. So starting off, I've drawn this green bar to represent the screen. On the left and right, we have the two dials, which control a pulley system. And this pulley system moves a stylus, which etches away an aluminum powder. So we have an aluminum reservoir at the bottom, and then an aluminum fill. So when you shake the Etch-a-Sketch, it'll coat the back of the screen in this super fine aluminum powder, and when you move the the stylus, it scrapes away. Hence the name Etch-a-Sketch. Here we have a photo of how the Etch-a-Sketch works, and it's all silver because it's coated in the extremely sticky aluminum powder. So let's go through the basics of how you use an Etch-a-Sketch. Maybe you've never seen one before or used one. So the stylus will typically start in the middle, and we want to move it all around. And we can do that. We have the two dials on either side, which allow us to move the stylus around. So a clockwise rotation of the left dial is going to move the stylus to the right. So that's drawing a line to the right. Counterclockwise, that's to the left. And now with the right dial, if you turn it clockwise, it'll move the stylus up. And some of the more astute among you may have guessed counterclockwise brings it down. So I think it's a good time to pause the video and try this on your own, and then we'll go through it together. So I'm turning the left dial in a clockwise rotation, and this is the bottom. Now I'm going to turn the right dial in the clockwise rotation. That's going to give me a line up. And now the left dial in the counterclockwise direction. That's the top. And the right dial in the counterclockwise rotation. And there you have it. Well, that was pretty fun, huh? Let's go on to the next task. So from here on out, I'm going to be referring to the controls differently. So the L or the R at the beginning is left or right dial, and then CW is clockwise, and CCW is counterclockwise. So a positive X, if you just think of, a graph in school, that's to the right, and then a negative X is to the left, and then turning the right dial clockwise is positive Y, so that's up, and counterclockwise is negative Y, that's down. So on to slightly more advanced Etch-a-Sketching technique. If we were to do one full turn of the left dial and then one full turn of the right dial, we'd make essentially a big L, a backwards L. You could break that up into 4 or so, and you'd be approaching a diagonal line. You might see where I'm going with this. So if I turn both dials clockwise in sync, I'm going to get a perfectly diagonal line. And it won't come out perfect at the beginning, but that's the idea. So when you're turning the dials, you want to imagine yourself you know, going click by click and try keeping both in sync, and that'll give you a straight line going up at 45 degrees. So we can also turn both counterclockwise, which gives us a down and a left. So that'll bring us a downwards diagonal. Both outwards will give us an up and to the left diagonal line. And then both inwards is going to flip that around so it's down and to the right, like so. So let's make a triangle. I've put the controls here on the side, and again I'd suggest you pause the video and try it for yourself, then I'll go through it with you. Starting along the bottom, going to the right. Now to go up and to the left, I'm going to turn the dials in sync in an outwards rotation. So left counterclockwise and right clockwise. And now I'm going to continue to turn the left dial in a counterclockwise rotation, but I'm also going to turn the right dial in a counterclockwise rotation. Trying to go as in sync as I can to get those smooth lines. And there we go. Let's get on to a little bit more advanced technique. So from until now, if you followed my video, we have been turning both dials at the same speed, and that's been giving us a 45-degree rotation. So in sync, we're going to get that 45-degree line. Now if you were to turn your left dial clockwise one full turn, and in that time you were to turn the right dial 6 times, you'd get a very steep line, because you're going a lot more up than you're going right. So let's get some practice. You can start by drawing a vertical and a horizontal line, and then trying to draw lines that are approximately 15 degrees in between, going down, one at 45. And that'll get us nicely set up. Let's try one that's steep now. So doing a lot more turning with that right hand on that right dial, and back down. Just following that line. As long as you're quite close to the line, it's great. And no worries if you aren't, it just takes some practice. Mastering tracing a line is definitely a skill worth practicing. We're nearly professionals. So next, let's take these different angles and combine them. So this parabola is a combination of a horizontal line and then a little bit steeper and a little bit steeper. And we actually have the skill set to do that now. I've left our last sketch here, and I'm just going to start right here. So starting with that original horizontal, then adding that little bit of turn, like that first line, a little bit more, like the second line, teeny bit more, and we're past 45, and we're just straightening that out. I'd say that's pretty close. So with this, we can draw pretty much all the basic shapes. So I'm interested to see what you could do. I'll go through a short demo of quick sketch, but otherwise, you can pretty much draw anything you'd like. Here's a few examples of 5-minute sketches I've done. You can use these to get inspiration. Thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. I know I did.